Hi students. So I welcome you all for the series of lecture in which we are learning about a factor simulation laboratory in which we use the visual components software. So as a part of it, now we are in the learning of the software by name visual components. So today we'll get into a crucial aspect where in the previous lectures we learned about what is factor simulation was the first, and the second was the basic introduction to the graphical user interface of the visual components software. And today we'll get into the demonstration of the software and followed by where we'll get into the exercises. So in the demonstration part, you'll be learning about two things. The first thing is the earlier one, what we discussed about the graphical user interface, number one. And number two is how to save a file in visual components and how to retrieve the same in the visual components. So both these aspects we'll be having a glance. So now the important part is the moment on the desktop when you go ahead with. So this is how the visual components software is going to look like the moment when you come inside the. Yeah, this is how the software GUI is going to look like. So there are two ways to come inside the software. The first is either on the desktop of the screen where you can select the visual components create shortcut and then you can come over it, or you can go to the program. From there you can select visual components and then you can come into the software. So the moment you come into the software, this is how the GUI is going to look like, where there are several parts are there. We learn one by one. So the primary important part in this particular regard when you say is there is a white screen that is going to be the floor area where we are going to work out. On the left part we can see the e-catalog. So again there are two compartments are there in the e-catalog. So first compartment there are all models. So the moment you click the all models, the part are going to be seen on the right side. Similarly you can go by models by type. You can surf, there are different types of products are there. Then the very important thing is where you can search based on the using the search option. And now when you come by manufacturers, models by manufacturers, of course there are plenty of manufacturers are there. Even that day we discussed about ABB in the previous lecture. So the main crucial aspect is visual components. So visual components itself, they themselves have their own folder within which there are almost all the products are there. What's the primary difference between both the things is visual components is going to be a representation. It is going to be a mere representation. So it is free to the customer. They can select whatever they want. So whenever you want to search anything, go to all models, then come to the right compartment. On the top of the right compartment, you can see search. And then you can go ahead with the name and you can select the component. Then you can see there are plenty of components are being seen on the screen. So the moment you click one particular component, you will be able to select that particular part. If you want to know the description about them, so go ahead with right click and you can see the metadata. So there are two ways or there. Either you can directly left click and then you can pull it to the drag it to the screen, or you can go with double click. So that's how the product can be selected. Now coming for the other important thing is that windows. What are the windows are available? So here there are certain windows are there. For example, unknowingly you have closed. The first one what I closed was e-catalog, and now it is cell graph. So we can unknowingly, if you have closed means yes, it is possible for you to go ahead with. So on the right there are properties are there. Now I am closing it deliberately in order to give you knowledge on the layout part. So what you can do is on the top right corner, you can see there is an option called as show. So you go and click the radio button on individual things where it is going to pop up. So whenever you feel there is a lack of screen, you can do by this options. So you get the e-catalog, you get the cell graph, we get the output as well as the properties. So now let us get to the menu. The first menu is going to be file, where obviously it is applicable for any software, whatever you go ahead with. Then comes the home tab. So under the home tab, you can see there are multiple options are there. The first is going to be a basic clipboard, then followed by manipulation. Of course, we'll be using a deeper in the upcoming sessions. So PNP is the one which we discussed in the earlier class, plug and play. Then you have got grid snap mechanism, then tools to measure, to go ahead with pattern, grid pattern, everything. Of course, the basic dimension part you can do. Then connections will be using at some cases, interfaces will be using at some cases. And likewise, there are several menus are there, mainly to export and other things. Of course, we'll be learning everything in detail. Now the second tab, when you see, it is process tab. So again, the basic things are going to be there. However, the additional thing is PNP. So based on applications, it is going to change once again. So now coming for the next, it is where you have got a product, a process and flow under the editor tab. So we'll be using it often. Frequently we'll be using this. Of course, we'll learn everything. And now this is a basic demonstration. And now coming for the very important thing is the process, the model. The moment you come to model, you have got again there is an hierarchy, there are signals, there are certain things. Of course, it's repeating from the home tab. So likewise, you can select, you can toggle between the menu based on the functionality. And drawing, so drawing is the tab where you can't draw anything, but you can bring the model and you can export or you can create a drawing. Of course, we'll see a demonstration in the later case where you can obtain orthographic views based on the model what we have developed. So from then we can go ahead with. So now the next we'll migrate still deeper into the software where we'll learn about how to go ahead with the simulation. So on the top of the screen, you can see a simulation tab. So first initially setting, where initial setting, it deals with the stopwatch. So there you can see a stop clock, a watch clock, stopwatch like thing, where it is going to be infinite. Of course, you can restrict it. Then followed by the reset option. The reset option. So whenever you do any changes, you can't, before going for the saving, you want to see the simulation. So go for a reset and then you can play it. So the moment you reset, it comes to the 0 position and then it goes on. Then followed by into 1.0 is nothing but the play speed. You are free to change the play speed. Either you can give the value or you can go ahead with the scroll. So that's how you can go ahead with. When you come for less than 1, it's going to be a reduction in speed, and more than 1, it's going to be fast. Then you can go with interactive 3D PDF. So that's the record option. And of course, you can go with video. You can record video. I'll show you in the upcoming sessions. Then the same way, the same in the simulation tab is existing even on the menu also. So you can go ahead in the same case. Then the other important thing is the statistics. So statistics tab is, so of course that's the main thing where we can quantify the problem, whatever the problem we can do. So of course we'll be dealing a lot in this in the later cases. Then how to save a file. So whenever you want to save a file, so the moment you click the button, it is going to get changed into the, and how to save a file as discussed just before. So on the top left corner, you have got the file option. So you can go for the file option, save, browse the location, the area where you want to save the file. Then you can give the name. The extension of the visual components file is .vcmx. Go ahead by the name, save the file, and now the file is available for you to save. Thank you.